So you've thought about, you've prepared for, and you've actioned your behaviour change. Perhaps you've reached your goal and you think, brilliant, that's it, I'm done. Well, there's actually another stage on the cycle of change which is really important, and that is the maintenance stage. We're considered to be at the maintenance stage once we have been sustaining our behaviour change for at least 6 months. So we then move into maintenance, and maintenance is all about a continued effort and commitment to our behaviour change. So we're intending to continue, we're not intending to go back to what existed before, we're trying to prevent relapse. So a lot of people, once they reach their goal, can often become complacent, and that's when things then start to fall apart. So the maintenance stage is all about planning for the temptation of complacency. So here we're really looking to remember what life was like before the change, and this might be quite a long time ago now, so it might be difficult to remember. But for instance, if we're taking our kind of change in eating habits and exercise habits, perhaps it's remembering the lack of energy that we had before, the discomfort we felt within ourselves and about ourselves, broken sleep, not feeling confident, and looking at strategies to avoid temptations, to avoid complacency, and enjoying and celebrating how far it is that we've come. It takes a really long time for change to become natural to us, for it to become habitual. So if you think about, I don't know if you've ever changed around the cupboards in your kitchen, and for weeks and months afterwards, every time you want to get a spoon out of the drawer, you go to the now incorrect drawer. So that can happen for a really long time, because what's natural in you is that the cutlery is in that drawer. So after a few months, you might start to grow out of that habit, but you might still notice that if you are distracted, if you're not paying attention, you still sometimes go to that old drawer. So that happens with our behaviour changes. So if we're not on top of it, if we're not continuing to keep it conscious in our minds, then it's possible that we will forget about it, that we'll fall back into old habits, and we will undo all of the work that we've already done. Change takes constant and continual maintenance, so do not forget about the maintenance stage. And unfortunately, part of the cycle of change is relapse. So we can relapse at any point on the cycle. We can leave the cycle at any point. We could leave it before we've even really decided we want to change. We could leave it at the preparation stage because it seems too difficult. We could leave it at the action stage because we're not putting enough effort in, or we don't want it enough. Or we can leave at the maintenance stage because actually we have become complacent and things have started to move backwards. So relapse is a really real part of this cycle. It's important to remember with relapse that it's not a failure, it's a bump in the road, and if you catch it in time, if you catch it quickly, it doesn't need to have a massive impact on your intended change. So here we're looking at why and how this has happened, what are the triggers to it having happened, and how might you avoid those triggers again in the future. It's really common here to feel feelings of disappointment, frustration, failure, but what this is about is reaffirming our commitment and reaffirming our goals with ourselves. So when you are ready to rejoin the cycle and try again, go back to that preparation stage, go back to planning. Plan for what it is that's happened this time. So if this was to happen again, how would I do it differently? So go back to that preparation stage, have some patience, and try again. So that's it for the cycle of change. We've been through pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, and possible relapse. So the important things to remember with the cycle of change is to plan, plan, plan. Always prepare for a change thoroughly. Think about your triggers, think about possible relapses, and prepare for them. Don't be complacent. Learn each time you go around it, and don't be too hard on yourself.